Hi, I'm Hal from HES Ultimage, and this is a little updated video about how I work and how how I channel, how I get messages and everything like that, because there've been a lot of changes, so I figured I should make a new video to reflect those changes. I started as a tarot card reader and tarot oracle cards and runes. And I am a channeler, and while I was using those tools, I was also a channeler. But now I directly channel messages, okay? And I figure people might be curious as to how that works or how that's different. And the honest answer is, it's not tremendously different. It's more that it's more direct, it's more to the point, it's less broad, okay? Because what used to happen with a tarot spread, if it were like a one question scenario, would be that, you would have to make the pieces fit when some of them were becoming superfluous. I mean, in my case, I could custom spreads out and everything to, give many different shades and flavors to the cards, but at the end of the day, I could just get the message, um, just by tapping in. And it's like I was doing so much with the cards to try and make the right message come through that all I had to do was simplify and just get the cards, out of the picture and just start getting the information more directly and more concisely and just in a more forward way, which saved a lot of time and energy. So I'm going to go into a little more detail too about how channeling works, because I think people find this pretty interesting, and it's really unusual. And I always say it's like the human body is capable of incredible things. But but here we go. Cause for people who are just watching this, I'm not sure if you really understand what happens. Um, Basically, I can channel in words and phrases. It used to be letters that I could pretty much draw in my mind, basically, and I would just like literally like Y for yes, N for no, and all of that stuff. I don't even have to auto-write anymore. God, I forget how much progress I've made. Because I've had a long, okay, I'm calling it a long journey, but honestly, I've developed very quickly. Um, I read cards for myself privately for 2 years. I did this work professionally. Okay, I don't know how to word this. Maybe October 2014, so that way you guys can know when it's like years later. I didn't want to say like a year because this might be on my website for a while. Um, since October 2014, and I learned to channel in February 2015, and I've stopped using cards in okay, I guess this is October 2015. So to stop using cards in 1 year and to learn to channel in under a year, like half a year, is pretty quick evolution and pretty quick advancement. Um, and to anybody watching this, part of the increase in intuitive gifts, if you want to call them that, like channeling, like mediumship and everything like that, they really use the same exact tools, really, like the same exact functions in, the human body and everything, however that's circling around. And I'll go into detail a little bit about that because I think it's good to let people know how it feels. But but yeah, it's like the best way to move those forward is to listen to yourself. That's what I found so much. And I'm going to make some other videos about this, maybe just make a playlist about, all of these different things, because I can't do it all in one video, but there are ways of learning in the right way to move yourself forward so you don't have to keep going over the same lessons and missing the right kinds of, the right kinds of messages, learning, techniques, etc., that move you forward. Because when you're challenged to evolve, you have to evolve, as far as I'm concerned. Because every time that I chose to listen and evolve and grow, I've always found that things became easier, okay? And that goes for stopping using cards and all, too. But anyhow, so I'm going to describe to you a little bit about what channeling feels like, okay? So when you channel, you have kind of your ordinary mode, and then it's like you go into this like suspension. It's like a suspension of how your body functions. I literally say it's like your heart starts beating at a different pattern, and that your brain starts cycling in a different way. It's like the information is coming from a whole other area. And it's like with channeling, it's not like somebody, okay, everybody has different intuitive abilities, and I'm not going to knock people or anything because everybody experiences things in different ways. But this is how I experience my own personal channeling. It's like buzzing, and like I can hear the words, but you have to focus, okay? Because it's like people think that people are just like, okay, number one, there are people who have the whole spirit theory, which, you know, I thought about for a while, and then I realized when I learned that it was my higher self, everything got easier and everything made perfect sense. So that's the way I'm teaching it to people now, and I'll make other videos about that. But people think that it's like spirits talking in my ear, telling me exactly, you know, in clear, you know, perfectly crisp, crystal clear words, everything. And it's like, no, it's like buzzing information. It's like, you know, it's like electric shocks in your, not electric shocks, it doesn't feel that bad, but it's like almost electric buzzing in your brain that is like a whisper of words, and you have to really listen and focus to get the words clearly. That's why things like cards or other things can help people who channel or have mediumship, but honestly, they're not necessary. It's just a matter of, you know, comfort in listening to your channeling and also growth. And like my channeling aid right now is a thing of index cards, where I can just pick up different words and different energies. So it helps fill in the gaps, because that's really the thing too. Like, because to be channeling direct sentences every single second can really drain you. And you do feel like energetic highs and lows, and I'll do another video about that too. But that really influences how you're feeling, and like you can get into these kind of hyperactive modes, because in my belief system, we're accessing future information in the present. And it's just a matter of, you know, it going into that kind of breach makes you get very hyperactive, and it's almost like you're trying to press the fast forward button, and if you don't, you know, don't monitor yourself, then you will feel like rushing everything, and you become very impatient, and you become very like determined to just get things done in timing to solve something that's later. So you start to go into an overdrive sometimes. So it's always important to monitor yourself. But anyhow, so just returning to the point here, because I like to just kind of keep things free and easy on these. I channel in that information, like I said, it's like buzzing. So it's not like hearing it like, hey, this is the answer. It's like hearing almost like in a whisper the buzzing, and then it's like, this is what the word is, and this is how it sounds, and like it's really sporadic. It's very, okay, it's not sporadic, it's just like it's very, it's not so, like, it's not coming from a bullhorn, okay? Because I just think sometimes people have a mass misconception of that, so I like to clarify it. But anyhow, that said, it's like I get information very directly in that manner, and I'm gonna make another video about what I can and cannot tell, because that's a really big thing, guys, and I think people don't realize that there are violations here when it comes to what I can tell people and what I can't, because you have to remain capable of maintaining people's free will, and also, though, telling them the guidance that they need. So it's not even always about what they want, but what they need, okay? And that's one of my responsibilities as a channeler. It's to give you the information that you need, okay? There are people out there who will just give you what you want because it's what you want. I'm never going to be that person. I've never been that person even before I could channel. I have to tell it how it is, and I have to give you what I need to give you. And then, you know, it's up to you to implement that or to choose to ignore it and, you know, find out later that it would have been to your greatest benefit, okay? So that's one of my other things about why being a channeler is different, and why I am a channeler and not just a flat reader. Because I have obligations to give the information that I'm supposed to give, and A, not to overreach above the person, and B, not to underreach and not to pander, okay? Because if I'm forced to give some very hard truths to a person, I need to do it. And I cannot get out of it. I always say, it's like, you know, with my higher self, I can energetically, okay, because I can go into this a little more, because it's also, you know, a part of channeling. And okay, mediumship and channeling, I feel like it's like a fine veil, but I just feel like there's a dissonance between where we believe we're accessing our information. But it's like I can feel weight through energy, I can feel like a pain in my heart, I can smell things or taste things. Very rarely do I use that, but I can. But I can do all of those things if I need to get a message through, okay? So it's like, this is how I work it. So it's like, oh, well, he doesn't use cards anymore. It's like, I don't need to use cards to do it. And honestly, I found, you know, now that I've gotten out of using cards, that cards can cause it to become more reductive even. And it's not that it was that way before. I mean, I already had channeling to help me through it. But it's like, after a while, it was like me trying to get a square peg to fit into a round hole, because I could just get a better outcome by just listening to my channeling alone and not having to make it fit this archetype or this particular, you know, vision of this one card, okay? So that said, that's a little intro about channeling and how I kind of access information and things like that. And again, in my belief system, it's using the body and brain and, you know, all of that differently, okay? Whether energetic or not, like, I believe they're all interconnected, okay? So, that said, I will see you later.